The 10th Doctor and Donna are back celebrating all things Doctor Who Series 4 and of course their return for Doctor Who's 60th anniversary in 2023. In the latest release from the Demon Music Group Doctor Who Record Collection, in the audiobook stories Pest Control and The Forever Trap, released for the first ever time on record. This is a 6 LP collector set and it is available to purchase now from all good Doctor Who retailers who stock records, including the likes of HMV. So without further ado, let's unbox this rather vibrant and exciting collector set. It does of course come wrapped in cellophane, protecting the packaging itself, which is much appreciated given that it is a cardboard, albeit to a high standard. This still does of course pose the risk of it being scratched or damaged or the corners being dented, so this does provide at least a little bit of protection, especially when on a shop shelf. In the bottom corner we have a sticker which does of course have the 60th anniversary Doctor Who logo. This stands out a lot on that white background. It features 6 140g LPs which have been pressed on a translucent red and yellow vinyl. They look very pretty indeed. And it also mentions a few details about the audiobook stories themselves. The central artwork is incredibly visually striking, adopting almost a scrapbook-style design with various ripped pieces of paper throughout. I do like the use of the bold, vibrant orange and red, but also the splashes of white throughout, representing the rips within the paper, dividing up the artwork nicely. The rips do also reveal small hints to the stories themselves, borrowing elements from the individual record sleeve arts from within the case. This almost gives the impression that the ripped pieces of paper are uncovering the story's plot beneath. So we have the bug there, the pest in the bottom corner, the centaur at the very top. The hint to the TARDIS pull to open signage is also a lovely touch. The logo being front and centre also works really well. This bold white border around the sides almost gives the appearance that this is a sticker almost slapped on top of the rest of the main artwork. Again, kind of a scrapbook spontaneous design. The size of the record case too also really shows off the various shades of blue within the logo. This gives the piece a lot of depth, and that yellowy glow on the Who works really effectively. It definitely stands out. The whole logo has this crunched paper design, all worn and perhaps a tad discoloured too. Now given the origin of course of this logo initially being from the classic series, overall this gives the piece a very retro appearance, almost like the Doctor Who themed Weetabix from back in the day. The BBC logo also weirdly blends in rather well with its own ripped design there just above the main Doctor Who logo with a black background. The text at the bottom of the central cover art does get a little bit lost within the rest of the visuals going on. This introduces the contents of the set being 2 original audio drama adventures read by Tennant and Tate themselves, who are of course also depicted on the cover. There is again a finish to these pictures which adds an element of sharpness to them, particularly the expressions on the characters' faces, the highlights in Ten's spiky hair, and of course Donna's ginger hair with lots of volume. Ten's very ambery eyes certainly standing out, much like Donna's vibrant red lipstick. Both of them are reaching out in a rather dramatic fashion, and the artwork also gives a good look at their outfits, Donna of which is wearing her usual long brown leather jacket seen in quite a lot of the Series 4 promotional material, and the 10th Doctor is in his usual brown pinstripe suit. The case itself is made of a high quality thick card. The printing is also very high quality, sporting this lovely smooth finish. There is no embossing or silver foil unlike some of the previous collector's editions, but to be honest I think it works well without it due to the design of this one being rather different to the others. The inner lid is also just a standard white, but this stands out a lot given the rest of the colour palette going on. As for the back of the case, this continues the lovely ripped design. This presents a brief story synopsis for the individual episodes, complete with an icon representing the story above. The company information and technical details are all neatly restricted to the bottom of the case, and they are rather easy to overlook, which is good, and I like how the designers, as in Dare Creative, are also boldly presented there in the centre of the artwork, giving them a lot of nice credit. This time the ripped design on the back is more a series of greys and creams, almost like the back of a ripped poster. This is a great contrast to the vibrant sea on the front cover and makes the text generally stand out quite a lot. The bold colour palette also stretches around to the sides of the case, both on the lid as well as the bottom base, which holds the records themselves. The front artwork kind of wraps around this. Lots of red, lots of orange, with the white and black in there too. The Doctor Who logo is present at the top, as well as the title of the product, with a little bit of Demon Music Group information there at the very bottom, so it's a fairly eye-catching spine. As we open the record case, we are greeted by a leaflet which repeats the cover art with some of the text removed. The back of the leaflet is a slightly adapted version of the outer case design, with some of the behind-the-scenes credits present within the centre. Opening up the leaflet, the inner design is an effective use of the repeated design elements also seen on the sleeves for the records themselves, which we'll be taking a look at in a bit, combining the ripped scrapbook design seen on the outer case. The writing and production credits are presented clearly on one side, and on the other side we have some exclusive 2024 writer's notes reflecting on the 2008 production for both stories. The leaflet, much like the rest of the product, is made out of a high quality material, a thicker paper. It feels great to hold, it feels like a higher end Doctor Who product. It certainly feels like a collector's piece rather than a mass produced record. So now then, onto the records themselves. The first 3 records within this 6 LP set are dedicated to the first story, being Pest Control. All 3 sleeves are made of a nice thick paper protecting the records within. I love how across the 3 LPs the drawings remain consistent, using mostly bold black and bloody red as the dominant colours. This creates an eye-catching uniformity between the record sleeves, separating them from the yellow theme seen within the second story. LP1 depicts an incredibly angular sci-fi style robot figure stomping across the bug-like pests, which are represented on the lower half of the sleeve. The dripping blood design is rather grim and unique for a Doctor Who product, it has to be said, capturing the action of the story with the various thin black lines there in the background, creating the impression of a lovely comic book style appearance. This is complemented brilliantly by the bold stamp out text. The whole piece, along with its "Donate to Join the Resistance" slogans, create this overall appearance of it being a propaganda poster. The second LP, again, is very dramatic. The central centaur figure falling, I'm going to presume, to his death. He does look rather in trouble, I think it is safe to say, clutching some arrows as he falls down. I'm also going to guess that that's probably why that they need further reinforcements, as it says there, just below him on the lower half of the sleeve. The vibrant red, I think, really works on this one, creating this striking balance between the cloudy grey background and the stacked text falling down one side. Again, I think that this artwork is really striking, really nice to look at, especially when listening along to the story's events. The third LP completes Pest Control with another propaganda-style poster. I love the staggered line design with this one, all centred around the hand wielding the pill. Again, it's a unique design choice for Doctor Who, but I think this makes the whole set stand out as a whole. It stands out apart from other Doctor Who merchandise, which more than often can fall to the same design choices and things can feel repetitive. This set definitely doesn't do that. The text presentation overall also has lots of personality. We also have there in the bottom corner a little bug nicely completing the sleeve. Sliding out the records for Pest Control, the red theme continues. There is no patterns or splatters or anything like that. It's a solid but translucent red. It does in fact remind me of those rather larger lollies that you get in old sweet shops, a very vibrant, eye-catching red. It's also very pleasant to look at while spinning around the turntable. And given how vibrant this red is, given how much it stands out, again this is a lovely callback to the red used on the main central cover art on the outer case. LPs 4 through to 6 are of course the second story, The Forever Trap, and we have a similar stunning style, but this time the red is swapped out for this warm yellow. Rather than propaganda posters from the previous story, these record sleeves look like promotional material for the edifice high-rises. LP4 begins with this lovely sci-fi looking building, a high-rise of brutalist architecture, but with a weird sci-fi twist, quite literally with the building contorting and twisting. The use of lights and darks here create this striking 3D illusion. It gives the building a great sense of depth. The white text below also stands out a lot on that cream background, with the wording "You'll never leave." Oh, how very Royston Vasey. After all, this is of course a local record for local people, so let's have a glimpse inside the edifice, with of course the occupants, the latest occupants, being the Doctor and Donna, presented here via silhouette. It's simple, but it's effective, and the identities of the characters is most certainly given away by the Doctor's quiff there in that rather effective side profile. The rest of the artwork surrounding the two main protagonists on LP5 looks like almost a hotel brochure, a long shot of the accommodation, a perfectly made bed, perfect looking fruit there in a fruit bowl, and of course completing this with a grand view. What's not to like? As they boldly claim on the previous record, you'll never leave. The yellow glow this time represents the skyline, which I think works really well, and we also have this line and grain finish throughout, which continues to be really satisfying to look at. Again, I love how this product really breaks the mould from common Doctor Who merchandise design methods, with this record sleeve in fact being, I suppose, the closest that we get to usual Doctor Who merchandise, with the main protagonists actually being present, but all that usual stuff like familiar Doctor Who elements, the TARDIS being present, all of that, none of that is here. This is all new elements, and I really like that. It makes it feel really fresh. The sixth and final LP of the collector's set is probably my least favourite of the lot, simply because I think it breaks away from the style overall of the rest of the series, opting for creating this resident association rules charter. It looks a bit like a newspaper style document, with lots of references to the story's events. Again, it's bold, a great range of fonts with small images, it's quite eye-catching. The yellow this time is limited to the sides of the paper. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. It's got great attention to detail. It deviates a little bit too much from the rest of the designs on the sleeves. We are going to continue the sweet theme for the second LP of this set with this sherbet lemon translucent yellow, or hazard symbol yellow, whatever takes your fancy. This tangy yellow design is certainly very eye-catching. Again, it will look great spinning around the turntable, although if you're a fan of a more splatter vinyl, I guess this record set won't be for you as much, but I personally still think it looks nice. Most importantly, I think it inkeeps with the design of the rest of the piece. As for the central symbols, these include a robotic looking shape thing. I think it looks like a toaster with marmalade sort of spurting out the side for some reason. Probably isn't. Then we have a simplified version of the edifice building itself with various rooms sticking out of it. And finally we have the fruit bowl back again, looking very neat and futuristic. No TARDIS in sight. Love it. As for the symbols on the back of Pest Control, these also sport a simple, almost hieroglyphic style design, one being a bug or pest, the other being a centaur, and then the final one being what I think is a large stomping boot from one of the robots. The central label has a cream base, the letters stand out a lot, the logo variation works very well, and the LP numbering is clearly presented, so all very nice and consistent. Up until now, I've not actually mentioned the opposite side of the record sleeves. These are the same for all 6 records within this set. They are simple with a cream background, presenting all of those important LP details, the number, the side of which that is present on that record, as well as a quote taken from that story's part, which I think is a great touch. Again, the Doctor Who logo variation works really well within this layout, complete with the episode title beneath in a bold font. And finally, we also have the little icon from the record itself, also repeated, mirroring that within the record sleeve. It's these small details that I really like. So there we have it, that is Doctor Who, Pest Control and The Forever Trap pressed for the first ever time onto LP. This is a really lovely collector's set. It is a great high quality collector's item, and it's clear that a lot of attention to detail has gone into designing this piece. I love the consistent design throughout, the continuous use of the same colours, but also the repeated symbols such as the centaur and the pest being present both on the record but also the record sleeve. As always with Doctor Who records, this is certainly catering to a niche audience, arguably even more niche than their single or double LP releases, simply because this is a collector set, it's 6 records, naturally that comes with a higher price tag, so it is definitely a more premium Doctor Who collector's item. But if you enjoy this era, if you like Series 4, if you like the chemistry between the Doctor and Donna, but also particularly if you want to hear new Doctor and Donna content that is actually read by the main protagonists, then this product is just for you. And I think that the artwork and the physical products itself is of a very high quality, as always with this series, and no doubt if you like Doctor Who records then you will love this one just as much. So thank you very much for watching this review, I really hope you have enjoyed it. Do of course stay tuned on The Host Productions for regular Doctor Who content. Have a nice day, I shall see you all next time.